Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave a comment below today. Today we're going to start off with a prayer. It is called the Armor of God. It is in Ephesians 6, but you can look it up on any search engine. The Armor of God. I put on and stand firm with the belt of truth buckled around my waist. I am safe and secure with the breastplate of righteousness, guarding my heart from evil, helping me live a life that honors you. I diligently put on the gospel shoes of peace, willing to go wherever you ask of me. I take and stand behind the shield of faith, protected against Satan's fiery darts of doubt, fear, lies, and deceit. Now on my head I place the helmet of salvation, keeping my mind on you. I grab hold in my hand of the sword of the Spirit, the word of Yahweh, sharp and true. I'm prepared to live today in spiritual victory in Yeshua's name. Amen, folks. Amen. Today we're going to be doing the last 4 chapters of the book of Deuteronomy, folks. So let's get going. Chapters 31 through 34. Chapter 31. When Moses had finished speaking these words to all Israel, he said to them, I am now 120 years old and am no longer able to move about freely. Besides, the Lord has told me that I shall not cross this Jordan. It is the Lord your God who will cross before you. He will destroy these nations before you, that you may supplant them. It is Joshua who will cross before you, as the Lord promised. The Lord will deal with them just as he dealt with Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites whom he destroyed, and with their country. When, therefore, the Lord delivers them up to you, you must deal with them exactly as I have ordered you. Be brave and steadfast. Have no fear or dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who marches with you. He will never fail you or forsake you. Then Moses summoned Joshua, and in the presence of all Israel said to him, Be brave and steadfast, for you must bring this people into the land which the Lord swore to their fathers he would give them. You must put them in possession of their heritage. It is the Lord who marches before you. He will be with you and will never fail you or forsake you. So do not fear or be dismayed. When Moses had written down this law, he entrusted it to the Levitical priests who carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel, giving them this order. On the Feast of Booths, at the prescribed time, in the year of relaxation, which comes at the end of every 7-year period, when all Israel goes to appear before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses, you shall read this law aloud in the presence of all Israel. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, as well as the aliens who live in your communities, that they may hear it and learn it. And so fear the Lord your God and carefully observe all the words of this law. Their children also, who do not know it yet, must hear it and learn it, that they may too fear the Lord your God as long as you live on the land which you will cross the Jordan to occupy. The Lord then said to Moses, The time is now approaching for you to die. Summon Joshua and present yourselves at the meeting tent, that I may give him his commission. So Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves at the meeting tent. And the Lord appeared at the tent in a column of cloud, which stood still at the entrance of the tent. The Lord said to Moses, Soon you will be at rest with your fathers, and then this people will take to rendering wanton worship to the strange gods among whom they will live in the land they are about to enter. They will forsake me and break the covenant which I have made with them. At that time my anger will flare up against them. I will forsake them and hide my face from them, so that they will become a prey to be devoured, and many evils and troubles will befall them. At the time they will indeed say, It is not because our God is not among us that these evils have befallen us. Yet I will be hiding my face from them at that time, only because of all the evil they have done in turning to the other gods. Write out this song then for yourselves, teach it to the Israelites, and have them recite it, so that this song may be a witness for me against the Israelites. For when I have brought them into the land flowing with milk and honey, which I promised on oath to their fathers, and they have eaten their fill and grown fat, if they turn to other gods and serve them, despising me and breaking my covenant, then when many evils and troubles befall them, this song which their descendants will not have forgotten to recite will bear witness against them. For I know what they are inclined to do, even at the present time, before I have brought them into the land which I promised on oath to their fathers. So Moses wrote this song that same day, and he taught it to the Israelites. Then the Lord commissioned Joshua, the son of Nun, and said to him, Be brave and steadfast, for it is you who must bring the Israelites into the land which I promised them on oath. I myself will be with you. When Moses had finished writing out on a scroll the words of the law in their entirety, he gave the Levites who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord this order: Take this scroll of the law and put it beside the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God, that there it may be a witness against you. For I already know how rebellious and stiff-necked you will be. Why, even now, while I am alive among you, you have been rebels against the Lord. How much more then after I am dead? Therefore, assemble all your tribal elders and your officials before me, that I may speak these words for them to hear, and so may call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you are sure to become corrupt, and to turn aside from the way along which I directed you, so that evil will befall you in some future age, because you have done evil in the Lord's sight, and provoked him by your deeds. Then Moses recited the words of this song from beginning to end for the whole assembly of Israel to hear. Give ear, O heavens, while I speak. Let the earth hearken to the words of my mouth. May my instructions soak in like the rain, and my discourse permeate like the dew, like a downpour upon the grass, like a shower upon the crops. For I will sing the Lord's renown. O proclaim the greatness of our Lord, the rock. How faultless are his deeds, how right all his ways, a faithful God without deceit. How just and upright he is. Yet basely has he been treated by his degenerate children, a perverse and crooked race. Is the Lord to be thus repaid by you, O stupid and foolish people? Is he not your Father who created you? Has he not made you and established you? Think back on the days of old. Reflect on the years of age upon age. Ask your father, and he will inform you. Ask your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High assigned the nations their heritage, when he parceled out the descendants of Adam, he set up the boundaries of the peoples after the number of the sons of God. While the Lord's own portion was Jacob, his hereditary share was Israel. He found them in a wilderness, a wasteland of howling desert. He shielded them and cared for them, guarding them as the apple of his eye. As an eagle incites its nesting forth by hovering over its brood, so he spread his wings to receive them and bore them up on his pinions. The Lord alone was their leader. No strange god was with him. He had them ride triumphant over the summits of the land and live off the products of its fields, giving them honey to suck from its rocks and olive oil from its hard stony ground, butter from its cows and milk from its sheep, with the fat of its lambs and rams, its Bashan bulls and its goats, with the cream of its finest wheat. and the foaming blood of its grapes you drank. So Jacob ate his fill, the darling grew fat and frisky. You became fat and gross and gorged. They spurned the God who made them, and scorned their saving rock. They provoked him with strange gods, and angered him with abominable idols. They offered sacrifices to demons, to no gods, to gods who they had not known before, to newcomers just arrived, of whom their fathers had never stood in awe. You were unmindful of the rock that begot you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. When the Lord saw this, he was filled with loathing and anger toward his sons and daughters. I will hide my face from them, he said, and see what will then become of them. What a fickle race they are, sons with no loyalty in them. Since they have provoked me with their no God and angered me with their vain idols, I will provoke them with a no people, with a foolish nation. I will anger them. For by my wrath a fire is enkindled that shall rage to the depths of the netherworld, consuming the earth with its yield and licking with flames the roots of the mountains. I will spend on them woe upon woe, and exhaust all my arrows against them. Emancipating hunger and consuming fever and bitter pestilence, and the teeth of wild beasts I will send among them, with the venom of reptiles gliding in the dust. Snatched away by the sword in the street, and by sheer terror at home, shall be the youth and the maiden alike, the nursing babe as well as the hoary old man. I would have said, I will make an end of them, and blot out their name from men's memories, had I not feared the insolence of their enemies, feared that these fools would mistakenly boast, our own hand won the victory. The Lord had nothing to do with it, for they are a people devoid of reason, having no understanding. If they had insight, they would realize what had happened. They would understand their success and say, how could one man rout 1,000, or 2 men put 10,000 to flight, unless it was because their rock sold them, and the Lord delivered them up. Indeed, their rock is not like our rock, and our foes are under condemnation. They are a branch of Sodom's vine stock, from the vineyards of Gomorrah. Poisonous are their grapes, and bitter their clusters. Their wine is the venom of dragons, and the cruel poison of cobras. Is not this preserved in my treasury, sealed up in my storehouse against the day of vengeance and requital, against the time they loose their footing? Close at hand is the day of their disaster, and their doom is rushing upon them. Surely the Lord shall do justice for his people. On his servants he shall have pity. When he sees their strength failing, and their protected and unprotected alike disappearing, he will say, where are their gods whom they relied on as their rock? Let those who ate the fat of your sacrifices and drank the wine of your libations rise up now and help you. Let them be your protection. Learn then that I alone am God, and there is no God beside me. It is I who bring both death and life, I who inflict wounds and heal them, and from my hand there is no rescue. To the heavens I raise my hand and swear, as surely as I live forever, I will sharpen my flashing sword, and my hand shall lay hold of my quiver. With vengeance I will repay my foes and requite those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall gorge itself with flesh, with the blood of the slain and the captured, flesh from the heads of the enemy leaders. Exult with him, you heavens. Glorify him, all you angels of God, for he avenges the blood of his servants and purges his people's land. So Moses, together with Joshua, son of Nun, went and recited all the words of this song for the people to hear. When Moses had finished speaking, all the words to Israel. He said, "Take to heart all the warning which I have given you now, and which you must impress upon your children, that you may carry out carefully every word of this law. For this is no trivial matter for you. Rather, it means your very life, since it is by this means that you are to enjoy a long life on the land which you will cross the Jordan to occupy." On that very day the Lord said to Moses, "Go up on Mount Nebo, here in the Abraham Mountains. It is in the land of Moab, facing Jericho, and view the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites as their possession. Then you shall die on the mountain you have climbed, and shall be taken to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Hor, and there was taken to his people, because both of you broke faith with me among the Israelites at the waters of Meribah Cades in the desert of Sin, by failing to manifest my sanctity among the Israelites. You may indeed view the land at a distance, but you shall not enter that land which I am giving to the Israelites." Chapter 33. This is the blessing which Moses, the man of God, pronounced upon the Israelites before he died. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai and dawned on his people from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran and advanced from Meribah Cades, while at his right hand a fire blazed forth, and his wrath devastated the nations. But all his holy ones were in his hand. They followed at his feet, and he bore them up on his pinions. A law he gave to us. He made the community of Jacob his domain, and he became king of his darling. When the chiefs of the people assembled and the tribes of Israel came together. May Reuben live and not die out, but let his men be few." The following is for Judah. He said, "The Lord hears the cry of Judah. You will bring him to his people. His own hands defend his cause, and you will be his help against his foes." Of Levi, he said, "To Levi belong you, Thummim, to the man of your favor, your Uriam, for you put him to the test at Massah, and you contended with him at the waters of Meribah. He said of his father, I regard him not. His brothers he would not acknowledge, and his own children he refused to recognize. Thus the Levites keep your words, and your covenant they uphold. They promulgate your decisions to Jacob and your law to Israel. They bring the smoke of sacrifice to your nostrils and burnt offerings to your altar. Bless, O Lord, his possessions, and accept the ministry of his hands. Break the backs of his adversaries and of his foes, that they may not rise. Of Benjamin he said, Benjamin is the beloved of the Lord, who shelters him all the day, while he abides securely at his breast. Of Joseph he said, Blessed by the Lord is his land, with the best of the skies above, and of the abyss crouching beneath, with the best of the produce of the year, and the choicest sheaves of the month, with the finest gifts of the age-old mountains, and the best from the timeless hills, with the best of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwells in the bush. These shall come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the brow of the prince among his brothers, the majestic bull, his father's firstborn, whose horns are those of the wild ox, with which to gore the nations, even those at the ends of the earth. These are the myriads of Ephraim, and these the thousands of Manasseh. Of Zabulon he said, Rejoice, O Zabulon, in your pursuits, and you Issachar in your tents, you who invite the tribes to the mountains, where feasts are dully held, because you suck upon the abundance of the seas and the hidden treasures of the sand. Of Gad he said, Blessed be he who has made Gad so vast. He lies there like a lion that has seized the arm and head of the prey. He saw that the best should be his when the princely portion was assigned. While the heads of the people were gathered, he carried out the justice of the Lord and his decrees respecting Israel. Of Dan he said, Dan is a lion's whelp that springs forth from Bashan. Of Naphtali he said, Naphtali is enriched with flavors and filled with the blessings of the Lord. The lake and south of it are his possession. Of Aser he said, more blessed than the other sons be Aser. May he be the favorite among his brothers, as the oil of his olive trees runs over his feet. May your bolts be of iron and bronze. May your strength endure through all your days. There is no God like the God of the darling, who rides the heavens in his power, and rides the skies in his majesty. He spread out the primeval tent. He extended the ancient canopy. He drove the enemy out of your way, and the Amorite he destroyed. Israel has dwelt securely, and the fountain of Jacob has been undisturbed in a land of grain and wine, where the heavens drip with dew. How fortunate are you, O Israel! Where else is a nation victorious in the Lord? The Lord is your saving shield, and his sword is your glory. Your enemies fawn upon you as you stride upon their heights. Chapter 34, last chapter, guys. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, the headland of Phasgah, which faces Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land, Gilead and as far as Dan, all Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the western sea, the Negeb, the circuit of the Jordan, with the lower lands at Jericho, city of palms, and as far as Segor. The Lord then said to him, This is the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that I would give to their descendants. I have let you feast your eyes upon it, but you shall not cross over. So there in the land of Moab, Moses, the servant of the Lord, died as the Lord had said, and he was buried in the ravine opposite Beth Fagor in the land of Moab. But to this day, no one knows the place of his burial. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were undimmed and his vigor unabated. For 30 days the Israelites wept for Moses in the plains of Moab, till they had completed the period of grief and mourning for Moses. Now Joshua, son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom, since Moses had laid his hands upon him. And so the Israelites gave him their obedience, thus carrying out the Lord's command to Moses. Since then, no prophet has arisen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. He had no equal in all the signs and wonders the Lord sent him to perform in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all his servants, and against all his land, and for the might and terrifying power that Moses exhibited in the sight of all Israel. And that is it for the day, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below today. Thank you, and have a blessed day.